My name is May Hong. I am the speaking voice of Mira from K-pop Demon Hunters. And this is Moana Nui podcast. Signing off. Happy fans. Do it with me. Happy fans. Happy Hon.
How's everybody doing? How you doing? You good? Not too much feedback on this, right? We cool? Yeah. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Don't start spitting bars, please. You don't.
They gotta pay for that, Mikey. Get ready.
I'm ready to hear 16. I'm kidding.
Don't enable him.
No, thank you so much for coming out to the panel. I have to admit, I was nervous at first. I was like, oh man, I don't know if anybody's going to be in the room, but this is amazing. See, clap it up for yourselves real quick. I think Shadi mentioned it. We will be taking pictures. Is everybody cool with that? Nobody hiding for anybody? No? Okay.
That's an important question.
That's a beautiful. I love it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So thank y'all so much for being here. Yeah, for our panel, Diversity Within Diversity. We are not a monolith. It sounds like a wordy title, and I think it's an important one because I had a friend that Mikey can attest to called me last night, and he said, I don't get it. What the hell is this panel? Why are you calling it this name? Right? He was like, diversity, it already means diverse. What else is there? And I think it's so important for us to discuss that, because I think a lot of times people just think black is enough. You have a black character, so diversity already exists, but there's so much levels to that. And we are here to discuss that, but also give you a workshop. As creators, we want to help other creators come up with their own characters. And we are going to be having a Q&A near the end where it's not just about asking us some things. We want to hear from you and what can we do as creators to create more characters that you want to see. That sound good? Yeah, everybody here? So, to help me with this are my co-panelists. These amazing people that you see right here. We have the prodigy himself, Michael Chuame Jr. Clap it up for him. Esteemed author, M. Shai Dash. Esteemed. Okay. And the prolific, prize-winning man himself, writer Greg Ilese. No, don't tell me I got it wrong, Greg. I did?
Elise.
You had one job.
Elise. I'm practicing too, but
Years of
no. But thank you. So we're gonna kick this off real quick. I want to hear your comic book origin, superhero origin, so to speak. What was a moment you remember where you fell in love with comics, which will also serve as a little introduction? What was the moment? Starting with
Elise. Honestly, I'll go far back as to second grade, and this was back around the time when the death of Superman was happening. And I didn't really know much about it whatsoever, but I just remember a commercial for Superman action figures, and this is when he had the mullet and the black suit. And they were also releasing all these different new Supermen. So you had like Steel, Superboy, Cyborg Superman, a whole bunch of these different characters. And in the commercial, there was this cartoon animation of Superboy who was just like, don't mess with the S, you know? And I was like, who is that? He looks so cool. And upon going to school, I realized there was a comic book shop on my way to school in second grade. And I just remember like thinking, oh, this looks so cool. And going in and having like some money that my mom gave me, the first thing I asked for was, is there Superboy comic books? And I just remember being so excited when the comic shop owner gave me, I still remember Superboy number 19. Mm-hmm. And then from there, that was it. Mm-hmm. That's all I've ever like fell in love with. All my money was being spent on comic books, trying to find out who a lot of these characters were, realizing there was X-Men comics and of course Batman comics, and get to middle school and I'm writing my own fan fiction for a whole bunch of different stuff, and then that ends up where I'm at right now. You know,
amazing.
So
Clap it up.
yeah, sure.
All right, I'm M. Shai Dash, owner of Imatropia Comics, and my love of comics kind of started with me trying to just copy my older brothers and sisters. So my older brothers in particular, they always collected a lot of X-Men, and I thought those were cool. I thought Storm, especially Mohawk Storm, I thought Mohawk Storm was the one. I was like, who is this? And she had the Dora Milaje behind her. I was like, baldy baddies, this is great. But then when I saw Spawn, I'm like, oh, there's like dark, effed up comics too. Wow. So like, I don't know, 8 or 9 year old me, I was like, this is amazing. And ever since then, that kind of sparked something in me that wouldn't really reignite till later on, because really poetry and prose and short story, like I went full circle with writing before I came into the comic book space. But just knowing that it doesn't necessarily always have to be superheroes in tights. We have stuff that talks about the underbelly of society, talks about being othered, and I was just like, when I do, if I do break into the comic book space, that those are the stories I want to tell. So, and that got me here.
Forget about me. Hi everyone. So my name is Mikey Shime. I apologize, I'm losing my voice a little bit, so just bear with me, please. But yeah, I mean, I was mostly an animation fan. I didn't touch a comic till I was like around 6 or 7 years old. I was always a fan of like, you know, Samurai Jack, Static Shock. I was a huge fan of. When I'm originally from Far Rockaway, Queens, so when we were moving from Far Rock to the Poconos, where I pretty much done most of my growing up in, I remember going to Burger King. It was weird. It was like this weird promo where you get a Happy Meal and they had a comic inside of it. And I don't know if anyone remember like the Batman cartoon from like 2006, something like that. They had a comic called The Batman Strikes, and I saw that put in my hand. I was like, what is this? This is animation cartoons in a book. And my mom was like encouraging it because she wants me to read more, obviously. And then that changed me. I was like, oh wow. So like, I was already drawing. I was already a fan of, you know, cartoons, character design, all that stuff at a very young age. So that kind of pushed me to like, oh, this is kind of what I want to do in terms of comics. But you know, years by, where's Ray? That's my boy Ray. I've known him since we were in 5th grade. Came to see me. I will never forget when we were in 5th grade, Miss Tressy's class. You gave me a copy of Immortal Iron Fist. That changed my life. I didn't want to give it back. And just seeing the way David Aja, who was the artist on it, like, you know, the way he did storytelling was very cinematic, very, you know, that it was amazing to see. And then again in high school, you gave me Invincible. Yeah. Changed me again. I was like, this is to see now, okay, now outside of reading Marvel, DC, indie space now. You know what I mean? So that was also a change. And then at the same time, I discovered Milestone Comics. And people don't know Milestone. Collective in the 90s by DC, they created Static, Hardware, Icon, these amazing black characters. And so just to see how they were able to maneuver things and how they were able to tell their own stories, that was the pinnacle. Like, this is kind of what I want to do forever, tell stories that I want to tell, that people can inspire to, that people can relate to. So yeah, and then, you know, that's pretty much it. So.
Clap it up for him.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah? I'm going to try to project so that they can keep the mics. It's about them. 2 things. One, first of all, like I said, keep your phones out because I want you to start taking notes. Any creators in here? Any writers, artists? Yeah. Anybody thinking about it?
Even if you want to be, still put your hands up.
So, I love this answer.
I want 2 things. First, I want you to take some notes because I think that's really important what they just said. Everything that we're going to do here is a part. Everything is a lesson. I want you to remember that moment you fell in love with something. What about it stuck with you? Use that to fuel your dreams and your passion. Keep doing that. Keep falling in love with the thing that you want to do. Second thing, I hate Mikey. He's so young, and I hate the fact that he said 2006. Anybody remember 2006? Yes, Mikey.
Yeah, I remember it because my son was 1.
Anyway, so continuing, I want you to talk a little bit about what part of your personal background most directly shapes your storytelling voice, and how emerging creators identify and learn and lean into their own life experiences instead of copying trends. So I'll say it again. What part of your personal background, like, most directly influences and shapes your storytelling voice? Anybody can go.
Ladies first.
I grew up watching women who look like me being cast as fixers in almost everything I saw. And in some regard, that's like flattering, like, yeah, black women, we get it done, yeah. And then at a point, you're just like, this is kind of exhausting. And so by the time that I got to write the universe that this comic book is based in, when I wrote the short story collection that it was launched from called Porky Black Sci-Fi Tales, I'm like, I would like to write some stories where, yeah, we're kicking ass, but we land in a soft place. Someone is going to provide some manner of care. We're going to be rescued. We're going to play the damsel, you know. And how often do you see us as a damsel? That's why I always say that a lot of my work comes from my background of just wanting to have a love letter to black women and to just women, just like, or anyone who identifies as someone anti-patriarchal, I'll take it, whatever label you fall under. So that part that's like the impetus, that's my like galvanizing entry point for wanting to create my work.
Okay.
Black shit.
That's it.
Wow. Beat me in half a bar.
No, I mean, I grew up before you. I was big on like Hercules and Xena. That was my obsession. I love those shows so much. And I just remember when Gina Torres guest starred as Nebula in Hercules, I was like, whoa, not only was she gorgeous, but I'm like, there's a badass black woman, you know, in this. And I just remember realizing like, yo, a lot of the stuff that I was watching didn't really have black folks like that. Or if they did, there were guest stars, supporting characters, and also around that time was when Power Rangers was huge, and like Zach was just like Zach. You know, he was pretty fucking dope. And I think as I got older, even though I was still into a lot of the speculative fiction, and it didn't really matter to me at the time, like who was making it and who were the main characters, but I just wanted to see more black people as the main characters. And so for me, I would always try to find works where, you know, a black person was the main, whether it's in comic books, whether it's in horror, and stuff like that. So over time, they became, you know what, I'll be one of those people who will change that narrative a little bit. And one thing I would also get annoyed at as I was getting more conscious of my blackness and the representation of blackness was when it came to Haitians being showcased. It was usually in like a bit of a negative light, and also the spirituality of like say voodoo, for example, it would always be like the source of horror, as opposed to the source that gave so many Haitians power to become the first, you know, independent country, you know, to beat slavery and all that other stuff. So me, I would always try to find as much research as I can, and to the point where like I want to tell these stories where we're reclaiming our power back, and not just as Haitians, but as black people, you know. And so a lot of my work is literally just a celebration of black culture and a celebration of where we come from, of our roots, and also showcase that, yeah, we're not a monolith. There's so many different versions of blackness, you know. Some of us, because of that, we're gonna butt heads, you know, but we're still, regardless, we're all from the same initial tribes. I'm gonna say tribes, not just one. And ultimately, yeah, I would say that's where I come from in terms of using, you know, my background as a way to influence my work.
Nice. I'm going to ask you to hold on, Mickey, because I want you to lead the next question, right? Just to tie on to something that Greg just said. As you can see from the display, there are flags next to our names. That we're going to test y'all a little bit. Anybody know the first flag? What's going on? Where are my Belgian people? Any Belgians in here?
Oh,
that's what I talk about.
He's not
Right?
Beijing. He be faking his accent.
That's crazy.
The hate for the Caribbean people. And then let's say your name, Mikey, Tanzania and
Malawi.
Tanzania and Malawi.
Tanzanian mom, Malawian dad. So.
Yes, and Greg's the Haitian flag, and then we got the U.S. because once again, it is a diaspora. Right?
Listen, we going through a lot.
It's not a competition, Shai. But I know something for me that ties into my storytelling voice is that I'm very interested in the way, and tying into what you said as far as going through a lot, right? I know this might be a trigger word for some people, but trauma. And trauma comes in all shapes and forms, right? So it's not just, my man's got shot the other day or something. It's about finding, for me, if I can be vulnerable for a moment, sure, I went through a lot of stuff with my dad, you know what I mean? You think of it, my dad did the most horrible things, you know what I mean? Like everything, you know, drinking, gambling, womanizing, you know, alcoholic, just everything, right? And it took me a while to be able to confront him and ask him, like, the hell was going on with you, man? What? Why were you doing all this? And I have a story, a short story that I wrote that's available on Amazon. It's called Paths to Bimshire. It's this fantasy story, but it's set in a mythical version of Barbados. And it's the journey of a boy and his dad, but I get to talk about the things I didn't get to talk to my dad about because he got killed in 2013. So I used the boy in the story to talk about some of the things we went through. So I know some people might want to run from it, but use your personal experiences, use your background, and put that into your stories if you feel comfortable. So the action I want you to do, you don't have to do it right now, but write down 3 formative memory life moments that could become story seeds for all the writers and artists. Right? Think about 3 formative memories that could help your story. Next, how does your specific background, Caribbean, Haitian, American, whatever, influence your storytelling? Like specifically your cultural background, Mikey?
Man, you can't read these questions, man.
I mean, you know, on the right here, you did tell me the story that I was like, I want you to share that, man. I thought the concept is dope. So if you want to give them a taste.
I'm kind of the odd one. Oh crap! Sorry. I'm kind of the odd one out because they got books already. I'm still working on some stuff, but I do illustration, so that ties into like my culture, my background. But yeah, I mean, it kind of stems from like I think I was talking about my grandfather and all.
No, the zombies.
The zombie. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah. So right now I'm working on kind of like a zombie story set in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, where a lot of my family's from. It was the former capital. It's the big economic hub of the country. And it's kind of got inspired from COVID, because obviously when the world ended and we had a lockdown and stuff, the government at the time shut the country down, but because it was damn near authoritarian at that point, it shut it down only for 2 weeks. But yet, after that, everyone kept on moving, essentially, but in a lie. Like they're saying that, everything's fine, just pray to God, drink your ginger and lemon and you're good. So, it's crazy. It was crazy. So with this, it was like, it was unfortunately tragic because I had a few family members that passed away because of this administrative, decision. But it was very interesting to see how, my people, kept on moving on, no matter what was going on, the resilience of it, the survival of it. So with this story, which I'm calling Bongoland, which is the nickname for Dar es Salaam, right? I want to showcase, how, how everyday people, especially my 2 main characters, are child soldiers, because I want to go through the child soldier aspect. I think it's a very interesting topic when it comes to African countries, especially African countries in just times of just the distress and war and all that stuff. How something so innocent can survive in a world so desolate in a zombie outbreak, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. But also just inspired because with my background, my grandfather was a Malawian. In Malawi, he was a nationalist politician turned Pan-Africanist. So my dad's a Pan-Africanist. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I don't believe in diaspora wars. I believe in an Africa without borders. Because we didn't draw them ourselves. You know what I mean? So I wanted not just to inspire Tanzanians, East Africans, but African Americans, Caribbeans, that how resilient, how strong our people are in terms of times of strife, imperialism, colonialism. You know what I mean? So
okay.
That's kind of how I play at it. You know what I mean?
I want to ask a question here, and feel free to join in on the other question, your specific cultural backgrounds. But Mikey, with you saying that, right? I'm a little curious because I think sometimes what happens is that people do paint Africa as this monolith, right?
Yeah.
Where's your character from? Africa. He wears a daishiki. He has nipple rings and and sandals. So that's black, right? But no, there's but so I'm wondering then, how do we break the monolith? Like, have you ever felt pressure to create for that something that represents all black people? And how do you push past that? Like, what advice can you give to creators like struggling with that thought of like, oh my God, this character has to represent all black people? Like,
I mean that's the thing with me personally. Like I just like to I just like to make cool stuff. You know what I mean? And then your audience will find you essentially. Something you create will essentially stick to somebody. So you don't necessarily have to cater to everything. But I do understand that pressure where it's like you want to have the whole diaspora mess with it. But I mean, some people will, some people won't. But I just feel like my advice is just stick to your story, stick to what you're passionate about telling, and just people will come. Pretty much. That's the best I can say.
And Shai, have you ever felt pressure to create for like all black people? And
I have a story.
Okay.
So one year I did something on Twitter called Pit Mad, which is basically where you shoot your shot at the editors. And I got a little nibble. Okay. I got someone on the line, and what I sent them was an IP that featured. It was about a woman who made a pact with a jinn to become an immortal defender of women and children. And she was like, oh, I love it. But I think that what gave her pause was that there were black Muslims in the story. And I don't know what it is with this country, but the idea they have of black Muslims and their origins or their whereabouts and their comings and goings in this country all has like one singular origin point and one central figure. Shout out to Malcolm X. But that has nothing to do with the way I grew up in my big Muslim family. We weren't NOI, much respect to NOI. I love how they get down, salute. But we were just, black Muslims. And I think that sometimes as a writer, you're gonna bump up against those editors who they just don't know it, but they're blocked creatively. It's like they're casting it onto you, but really they're blocked creatively because they're just like, how can I sell this? I've never seen this. And you're gonna just have to carve that space out for yourself. Yes, I have the agency to write about a woman who makes a pact with the jinn because I grew up learning about Islamic traditions in jinn. I am just as well versed and learned the same surahs and have that knowledge. So it's like sometimes you just have to push past your fear when you're writing about like, is this gonna be black enough, or am I gonna be Muslim enough because I'm not an Arab, I'm not a South Asian, and do I have the? I mean, I got doxxed. I wrote a book called Woman in Sujood, which was just about being a black American Muslim woman, and someone doxed me, and they got my business page taken down on Meta. It was like a whole thing, and it was just a reminder that you have to write your story because some people feel like they own your story already, right? You have to write your story because you need to write it from your perspective so that other people can develop a sensitivity for other perspectives. So yeah, you're gonna bump up against the it's not black enough, it's not this, it's not that enough, or for people who are queer, sometimes I've heard queer people say, they told me it wasn't gay enough, and I'm just like, how did that happen? So just whatever your other intersectional thing is, if you don't see a space for it, I mean, that's that should actually maybe excite you. Like, you know, when you're launching a business, they say, how do you know which business to launch? Oh, you see a need. There's a need. There's a niche. So if you don't see it, please, like, write yourself in. So I hope I answered the question. I kind of answered it.
I think so.
I don't know if I did.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit.
Greg, how would you answer that? How have you ever felt that pressure, and how do you break past the monolith?
I never.
Is it gay enough, Greg?
Oh man.
No, I'll be paying, man. That's my bad.
I never really feel that pressure, to be honest with you. I think, like Mikey said, sometimes I just want to tell cool stories, but at the same time, I do want to inspire. And my answer for this question is mostly, regardless of who I represent in my stories, I just want to do it respectfully. And so I always try to do as much research as I can. I try to find people from that culture or from that community, and I'll ask them, hey, what do you think about this? But then also I will ask multiple people from that community or from that culture, because one person saying, oh yes, this is a great representation of us, then you have somebody be like, I'm not sure if I'm feeling that. So you never know if it's gay enough or if it's not gay enough, because one person's version of gay is not this other person's version of gay. You know, and everyone, this is the same as when you're an outsider who isn't black. You see one person and you're like, oh, this is what black is. It's like, nah, that's not. Like, it's a version of blackness, but my version is not hers. We grew up from different states. We grew up from different countries. We grew up from, different upbringings entirely. Same thing as queer people. Queer folks, we don't have the same experience. Not every woman has the same experience as a different woman. Of course, there are things similarities, that, you might draw from, but for the most part, you want to tackle it through different POVs from different folks, but also respect it, represent, respect it. So I don't really feel so much pressure, but I think that also goes down to the way that I work when it comes to how I organize my thoughts, how I organize my stories.
Okay. So I want to draw your attention to the images on the wall. I know for me, breaking the monolith means that I try to incorporate Bajan culture, Barbadian culture into my stories. So the character on the left, this is a character from Barbadian folklore called Heartman, which is a horror character. So it was basically our version of Freddy Krueger, the boogeyman.
Terrifying.
So it's terrifying. For anybody squeamish, the cat. It was a story told to children to make them behave, and it was a character that would carve up the hearts of kids and take it to Satan if you were. Yeah, I know.
What?
I know. Barbados is a different place. It's like, I was raised different. I was raised different. So, like, it was crazy. Like his coat is made from the skin of the children.
Country has a character like that.
Yeah.
So in Haitian,
I didn't make it.
In Haitian folklore, we have Uncle Gunnysack. Uncle Gunnysack, and in if anyone's Haitian here, that character is Toto Maku, and to the point where it's such a horrific story for kids that when Duvalier became dictator in Haiti, his secret police were called the Toto Makuts, and essentially what they would do is if he didn't like you, he would get his secret police to go at night, go into your home and kidnap you, and you will never see this family member again.
What? Crazy.
And in the Haitian stories of Uncle Gunny Sack, if you were a bad kid, he would find you, and he had a gunny sack, and he would stuff you into the bag, and that's it.
Like Krampus.
And I feel like every Caribbean country has this boogeyman type of figure. Where it's like, if you are not good, they're gonna come and do something to you.
Yeah, listen, you're right. That's why I try to be well-behaved, Emshan.
Listen, I'm always like, Caribbean people, not to make a generalization, but when I encounter Caribbean people, no matter where they're from in the diaspora, I'm like, oh man, just now with the manners I see. Why? Because that would scare the mess out of me.
But
I would be so polite if I thought a man with a half of a heart face was gonna come eat my face.
But the whole thing is just drawing from your culture, because I don't know about anybody else, but Greg, I want to see you write a story about that.
I kind of want to. I do.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to play where he showed up. Actually.
Yo, you know what I mean? So once again, the action is, drawing from your own culture, drawing from folklore. A couple things that, we asked 2 questions, but I didn't give you the action behind it. So the next thing when you're creating your stories, I want you to ask yourself anything, food, slang, music, rituals, folklore, what can help shape your character. And the next question was, so it's also write a flaw or contradiction to a stereotype for your character. So find, I don't like characters that are too perfect, so we'll give them that flaw, and I think the writers can agree on that too, right? Yeah. Or have them go against a stereotype. So, Mikey, go back one more to the path of Bimshire went to. Yep. So that's the story I was telling about on the right with the young boy and his dad. And I have to be honest, when I first started the story, I was like, I want to do this fantasy story. And I started writing it with the typical, a king and a queen and all this. And then I had this moment of like, what am I doing? why am I writing this, from a Eurocentric mindset? And I was like, what if I set it in a mythical version of Barbados? What if I use the creatures the animals that already exist in Barbados and then do like a fantasy version of that? So this, just drawing on your past, your culture, that can really help. I'm going to jump ahead because I want to make sure we're respectful of the time.
Yeah, I've been trying to go through these slides, bro. I apologize. I'm too slow.
Oh, no, that's cool. Yeah, because I definitely want to show everybody's work. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to this question because this is specifically for the writers, right? I'm curious about this because I draw my own stories a lot of the times. But as writers, do you write down certain elements for your artists to draw that visually communicate like cultural specificity and diversity? Do you make certain notes for them and be like, hey, make sure you include this? How do you instruct your writers to help them create diverse characters and what you see in your mind? Any tips for the other creators in here that may want to work with an artist? Like, how do you help them see your vision?
I'll go. So when I'm writing my scripts, I try to be as descriptive as I can. But at the same time, I also like to leave a lot of room open for my artists to have fun and draw some of their own inspirations. So in one of my Isnana stories, I had Ogun, who is in the Haitian voodoo tradition, he's the god of war, and he's also an Orisha in the Yoruba custom tradition. And he challenges Isnana in the story, my main character, who's the son of Anansi, and to the point where he sends out various different warriors to fight Isnana just to test them. And I gave each warrior like a different background. Like, this is where this character is from, and I left it at that. And then from there, my artist at the time, Sean Hill, he took it and ran with it. He actually did research to find out what are some of the patterns from these countries, what are some of the weapons that you'll see them, holding and stuff like that. So that's one of the things where when you find like a really good artist, where it's just like, yeah, so they're from here, and then it's like, all right, let me do the research. What are the patterns? What's the culture like for this character and so on? And that was just a blast to work with, and as opposed to, okay, warrior, and that's that. But I was like, I literally told you where I drew inspiration for this character. So like, let's actually make them a bit more three-dimensional, And some of the things that I've enjoyed with some of people discovering my work is I don't like to spoon feed things to my audience. Like, I really hate those type of stories. I'm not gonna say I hate them. I think there's a place for them. But when it comes to me as a writer, I sort of like people doing a little bit of research on themselves, or like a little like Easter egg. And I would have people from particular backgrounds who would read certain things that I've written, and they're like, "Yo, this is from my country." You know, it was just like, you actually got this right. And sometimes it's not always for me. Sometimes it's actually from my artists taking the extra step to do a little bit more research, because I just gave them like a guideline of where they're supposed to be inspired from, and just seeing them do their own work and adding to it, and it's just like, oh man, it's really cool. It's like a nice combination of everyone as a team working together, creating hopefully at least a close to authentic representation of particular stuff.
Thanks. I'm sorry, do you have something?
Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna
you now
agree
have
with
your,
what he
you have a
said.
collaboration, your book Fumes.
Yes, I'm working with two brilliant young women, Tayan Tahila and Kum. Shout out to Greg Burnham. He's been giving me some consulting and editing for that adaptation of this into a series. And I agree wholeheartedly with Greg said. I think the best relationship you're going to have as a writer trying to adapt into a visual work is not for it to just be solely project management. Did you get these panels done on this time, to the script, to the letter? But it should be more a conversation. And I'll give you an example. One of the scenes that I have in book 2, I really wanted, because I care about this issue, for it to be set in a mine in a particular area of the Congo. And so I pinpointed, okay, this would be the area. Mind you, I've never been there. I had to really do my, due diligence. And then they added a visual thing that I hadn't considered, because they went deeper into finding more pictures from this mine, because you can get Google Earth pictures from this mine still. And the area was Kinshasa. And so I didn't put it in the script, in my setup for the page panels, but they showed some of the workers carrying some of the loads away on their heads. And I'm like, that would make so much sense for where they are. And so I like things like that. I like when you can give the artist room to consider something that you have a blind spot for. And then I just think overall you just get a better work that way.
Okay.
Isn't that the coolest thing? Seeing people put stuff on their heads while they're just walking around?
Listen,
So there's a couple things I've been hearing in your answers.
I've had a hat fall off
so
my head.
far.
Oh.
Research, right? And if you are going to be working with an artist, find an artist who wants to do the work and also shares your passion. And this little tidbit I'm going to give you ties into what you were saying about Ogun, because I have another collaborative comic book called Street Team, the Almighty Street Team, and it's me and 4 other guys. We took all of our characters and put together in one group. And I'm a big fan of like the street level characters, Daredevil, Batman, those type of guys, right? So the characters are like that.
Batman is not on the streets.
Oh, yes, he is. What?
Batman is on a yacht.
That's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is on the yacht. Batman is in there breaking people's arms and backs.
And he's going on the street in Gotham and say that again.
And it always kills me because it's like, well, Batman doesn't kill, but he'll leave you paraplegic. You know what I mean? Lungs collapse.
Bones turn
Won't
to
check
dust.
on you. Doesn't know if you got it. You got health care, nothing. But
the bank if you don't have health care.
it's the system, man.
The cycle continues.
So we introduced this character that we called Grandmaster Ogun, and it is based on Ogun from the Orishas. Everybody familiar with the Orishas, by the way? Yeah? So I had this brother, a friend of mine, and I was going to make a joke. I was going to say he was definitely he was the extreme version of the Hotep. You know what I mean? Because I love my peoples. But then you all know we do have that one that's like, my brother. Do you really understand? I'm like, and he hit me up and was like, you can't be disgracing Ogun like that. Like, I screenshot it and sent to the rest of the crew, like, what? And he went off, but it was very, it was, he held it with such reverence, you know what I mean? And I was younger and more angry in those days. What the hell you talking about? I do whatever I want. But it is that case of sometimes you are going to have. One of the things I feel that we don't do enough as Nubian people is that we are scared to tap into our own mythology and sometimes twist that a little bit. You know what I mean? The Orishas aren't just gods; they represent energy as well, and they have multiple paths. If you look up the Orishas, they aren't just one thing. Ogun is the god of war, but also metal and these other properties. And I think sometimes it's doing people, we're scared to create a quote unquote bad guy because there is so much sometimes of the representation of black being bad or the thug or whatever. We're scared to enter that world and say, just the same way that white people can take mythology or whatever, Greek mythology and have gods do all kind of things, we shouldn't be scared to explore our own culture, and because a villain is just a hero in their own mind, you know what I mean? They just have other ways of doing things, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just want to share that with you, that don't be scared to tap into your own mythology and twist it a little bit and not, fear.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, sure, Mike.
But I also think it's an interesting thing not just to tap into our own culture, but it's also fine to also mess around with other mythologies and stuff as well too.
Get this coon out of here. No.
Take the mic away. But,
just ruin the butt. No, I'm
not. Listen, Sean, not today. We're not doing that. But yeah, but I do like the fact that's one of the things I respect from you and Greg and what I've learned from you as well as M. Shai as well too. That like blending, different aspects of our culture from the diaspora as well. I think that's super interesting. That's some stuff I'm also trying to do as well, man. So I just wanted to say that. No, I think it's dope.
And a quick thing to add, that's why I wrote that story, New High Score, because I'm like, I do not want a well-behaved hijabi. I want a hijabi in a battle royale that is in like a Squid Game style battle royale, but just happen to have the hijab, because you should have that flexibility. Like, why should just one depiction of something just stand? Like, no, she's in there, she's cussing and she's taking people down, but she got a scarf on.
Shout out to the lady I saw today with a t-shirt that said, I can quote Cardi B and Corinthians.
Hell yeah.
What?
Hell yes.
The classiest way to say, fuck y'all. You know what I mean? I loved it. So I want to jump ahead a little bit. We're almost at the end. I do want to take a few questions if everybody has any. I think these are two important things to ask. Industry navigation, right? What is one misconception about diverse comics that you want to dismantle? What's one thing, a misconception about diverse? And for me, I'll jump in and give you a chance to think about it.
Yeah.
The same thing, the reason that I created this panel, this discussion, black. And once you have a black character, that's it, it's diverse. We have to expand beyond that. It's very important for me as a Barbadian to show more Caribbean culture in stories, and hopefully people embrace that. Because I did get a couple looks. I was like, the book I have on the shelf is all Barbadian superhero team, right? And I tell people, hey, it's a superhero team, and they're like, oh man, and it's set in Barbados. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not from Barbados. What are you talking about? But for me, it's important to inject that culture. What about y'all? What's one thing that you like? I'm sick of this being representation of what diverse means. How do you want to break that?
I have my answer.
Okay.
Oh, I don't want to see the Killmonger haircut.
Oh my God.
We're done. We're done with the Killmonger haircut.
I'll let y'all. Maybe one more. The story has to be so good for me to let it slide. That's it. That's all I got.
Wait, hold on. I mean, isn't that? Isn't it, that's iconic now, right?
It's overused.
It's overused? I'm just wondering.
2018 was a great time.
Yeah, everybody, even grandfathers, baby mamas, everybody had that Killmonger conspiracy going on. Like, I feel like somebody made a Killmonger haircut paintbrush that you can just paint that.
It's now in the barbershops. Let me get the number 4. Get the Killmonger.
Get the Killmonger.
Go, you ready?
Okay. Mikey, anything? What's something that when you hear diverse comments and it's supposed to be this, that you're like, that's not diverse enough? What's something that you want to dismantle? Any ideas on that?
I'm sorry. I mean, I'll say for me personally, when it comes to like African representation, right? I mean, everyone always thinks when they think of like African comics, it's like either like Wakanda or like something else. But for me, it's like, again, because it's the Pan-Africanist in me, thanks, Granddad. But I just like to showcase, mostly educate, like different, I think like the whole borders issue, because again, a lot of history, but a lot of, when, the colonizers did all the borders. say for instance, Kenya and Tanzania, that was brother sister countries. We share the Maasai tribe, right? But because the border, like there's a lot of similarities in terms of other countries just across the continent. Period. Sometimes we'll get some stuff in Rwandan culture that's somehow also in Nigerian culture, all the way on the other side. So just mostly want to show different aspects of what the continent looks like, because I always say we're all one people, across the diaspora, one people, but we also have our different cultures that make us stand out. I don't know if I can just go back real quick, because like with these are just some Afro-fate pieces I've done, but I take aspects from different parts of the continent, like a little bit of some Maasai stuff, some especially in Tanzania, where because this magical thing called slavery. We're also Afro. We're also Middle Eastern and also Indian as well. So so I want to incorporate some of that as well, because there's also Afro-Indian people as well. And right now I'm working on a piece that's more focused on the Habeshas in Eritrea and Ethiopia, that kind of style too. So I'm not just it's more about educating, because my father always made sure that I knew where I came from, not listen to what the media says where I come from.
Bars.
And also just to let people know, hey, we're not just people living. We don't have trees and people living in trees, and we don't have lions in our backyard. But I've been told by people before. So
yes, do the research. If I hear one more person say, so in Barbados, y'all got water? Y'all got what? What y'all speak in Barbados? What? Anyway, something that I personally want to see dismantled. Can we stop labeling every comic book a black person does that might have a touch of sci-fi as Afro-futurism? I'm sick of the word, I get it, but I personally feel I started using the phrase Afro-fiction because I wanted to show there is a diaspora within literature as well. So that's for me.
Don't fight with Ronaldo, bro. Ronaldo Anderson.
What?
He will fight you. He will fight you on that.
I'm good. He's old. I can take it.
This is being filmed.
So a couple things I want y'all to do. Something Shai said. What kind of character is the industry missing? Think about that as you're creating your characters. Find collaborations that sharpen you, not duplicate you. So encourage feedback circles. You need people that will challenge you, and share resources openly. I hate gatekeepers. Real quick, we're almost out of time, so I want to turn it over to the audience real quick. Anybody have any questions for our esteemed guests?
So I just wanted to thank you for the talking point of how characters don't have to be good or bad. There could be a spectrum.
Yes.
I've been for years trying to finish a horror movie that I came up with my granddad.
Ooh.
And I struggled with it because we wanted the main character to be either a black man or a black woman. And there's going to be a major plot twist because it's a very morally gray character.
I love a morally gray.
And I was worried about how it would look. I didn't want it to be just negative against us already.
Yeah.
So it's okay, I'm okay, I can go home and finish.
Yes,
finish
yes.
My granddad.
Clap it up for you finishing that. I saw a hand over here.
How do you all find different artists with different artistic styles to bring your stories to life practically? Are you looking on the internet and looking up a hashtag?
Oh, they'll find you.
Yeah. I think that's a y'all question, because I think we need to
Yeah. Any real quick, just how you find your artists?
So when I was working on this is my first book. At the time, no one really wanted to mess with me because I had nothing to show that I can actually get work done. And so starting out, pretty much just save as much fucking money as you can. Because you want somebody who is not only good, but also professional, and you gotta pay out your pockets for somebody who can actually get the work done. And also, don't be afraid to ask around, how is it working with this particular person? But see also their output, how much work do they have out there? Are they actually working consistently? And once I got my artists, we vibed, and we brought this out. finally artists are like, oh, I read your work, I've seen this, now they want to work with me because I actually have work out. You know, and
Can I jump in here real quick? How did you find your initial artist?
So,
did you put a post or?
Yeah, so there was a, I don't know if the website is still there, but there was a website called penciljack.com, and a lot of artists would just, artists, creators, writers, they would just go and essentially they would even post some of their portfolios. They would have like threads just dedicated to stuff that they do, and some writers would also write some of their own things, own threads, and there's also a section where you're advertising. You're posting, hey, this is a job that I have, I'm looking for an artist, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, and I wrote a post pretty much saying the gist of the theme of my story, and hopefully the artist should be good at drawing this, and this. So like I put like animals and fight scenes and dynamic stuff and all the other stuff, and I created a new email because I didn't want to be spammed in my regular email. So from there, I also put paid gig. You also want to put that. From there, a lot of artists was reaching out. They were sending me their emails, and I can just sift from there to find what style I wanted and who I wanted to work with and see what they've produced and so on. Now, it's so much easier where I don't really have to do that because now you're connected with so many different artists and creatives to the point where after a while you start to see certain people posting all the time and you reach out, hey, I would like to work with you on something. And that was easy. It was tough for the first time, but now it hasn't been any issues trying to find an artist. And as M. Shai says, sometimes they find you. I've had artists seek me out and I see their work and I'm like, holy shit. Or sometimes it's an artist that I've admired and now they're the ones reaching out to you. I'm like, hell fucking yeah.
I love when that happens.
But yeah, so thank you for that. I'm so sorry. I want to be respectful for any other panels after this. I encourage you to please come and check us out. Tables A27, A28. M. Shai and Mikey are right next to each other. Greg, your table is
05, A05.
Yeah, he's like 2. So we'll help.
Yeah, sure.
Feel free to come up to us, ask any questions. Social media. Yes.
I'll just go through them real quick, like just the slides.
Yeah.
Right,
so you're going to say it should pop up. Mikey did a great job. So we got Pyroglyphics. He got it wrong. No, he got it right.
Yep.
No, it is wrong and right. The top one is right. Pyroglyphics 1. Ignore the Pyroglyphics
I'm taking the crowd selfie. Ignore me.
Oh, get it, M. Shai. So Pyroglyphics 1. Anybody in Philly or come to Philly? I got a studio opening up April 3rd. That's the grand opening. Come through, chill out. What's up, Mikey? Socials, where else?
Was on Facebook.
No, go the other slides.
Oh, me.
So yeah. Mikey makes comments.
Yeah.
Mikey, did you spell your own IG wrong?
I probably did, yeah.
Oh my God.
He was under a lot of pressure.
So Mikey makes comments with an A. It makes. Right? That's his IG.
And then if you go on my QR code, that's my podcast, the Indie Corner podcast
right?
on YouTube.
M. Shai's real quick.
Yep.
Or
I had just cut my hair. That was a wig. That was a wig anyway. But
stop it. Emmatropia comments. Please support her. She's got a Kickstarter that's going to be launching soon.
For Volume 2.
For Volume 2, Issue 2. And Greg.
Say it right.
I'm not doing it.
It's the real nigga post for me. Like.
Yeah, bro. I loved it.
If you see the full picture, I was like, what the heck? But thank you so much. We appreciate you. Happy New Year. Shout out to BlerDCon. Make sure you come check us out afterwards. Be safe out here, y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. If this the land of the free was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off, called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will. So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, he was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.